Let's begin. Okay. I think I had made these lectures as if I was going to do them on 2 different evenings. I think that's how I set it up in the syllabus. You know, the syllabus is a plan, like any plan. It's subject to change when the class actually starts. Things always move along a little slower than what I want them to do, right? So we talked about just a few minutes ago the 3 different levels of accreditation: LEED Green Associate, accredited professional. The highest level of pinnacle will be a LEED Fellow. Buildings are certified, professional, accredited. Credentials relate to professionals, right? We're professionals. We aspire to be professionals, right? That's why maybe part of the reason why you're here at Triton. Certification relates to or has to do with buildings. Right, here's our LEED Green Associate. It's your first step to our multiple choice exam. Again, the textbook has sample questions, sample multiple choice questions and their answers, so it's a good resource to use. Later in the semester, I will put up sample exams that you can use to practice on. So again, if this is something you want to do, if you want to put forth the effort, then I will support you by having practice tests that you can work on. Right, here's our LEED AP specialties aligned with the rating system. I think I had them on 5 separate slides. In the first half here, they're all on one slide, so I can see the bigger picture, right? The LEED AP with specialization, with specialty. Right, when I got my LEED AP many years ago was before they did the specialization thing. So, you know, on my business card, oh well, nobody really uses business cards anymore, but on all the business cards that I have sitting on my desk that I haven't given out to anyone because I haven't actually seen or met anyone in a long time, you know, and on my email signature at work it says Daniel Becker LEED AP or PE LEED AP, right? So at the time it was LEED AP without specialty. Now if you were LEED AP in operation and maintenance, your business card, your email signature would say so and so and so and so, LEED AP O&M, right? That's your specialty. Right, again, if you're so inclined, you can sit for both exams in the same day. Maybe a long, hard day. I think this is where I asked the question about how to get experience, a great question. I will address that next week. Here's our LEED Fellow. Okay, again, getting into the nuts and bolts. Again, LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's the rating system. It's the green building rating system. The US and GBC, the United States Green Building Council. You know, that's the member-based nonprofit organization. That's the organization that has developed the rating system. And the GBCI, the Green Building Certification Institute, they're the folks that actually run the credentialing and the certification process. So we've separated the development of the process from the people that are actually running the process. So that's right. Those are the two organizations involved in certifying green buildings and accrediting professionals. So at the GBCI, at the Green Building Certification Institute, right, they have folks whose job it is to manage the review process, to look at the materials that the project team submits. Remember, the LEED rating system is an absolute standard, so you're comparing yourselves to a set of criteria. So as we'll see, the project team will submit materials, and the folks at the certification bodies at the GBCI will be the ones who review those materials and decide the extent to which the project complies with LEED standards, right? To basically award the points, right? They're the scorekeepers, right? The LEED rating system is based on points. So the folks at the GBCI decide upon how well you've met those objectives or absolute standards and award the points, right? And there's a process of, the documentation for the rating system aims to be as complete and unambiguous as possible, but when you get into the real world, there's always questions that arise. So the design teams or the LEED teams can submit a CIR or credit interpretation request or ruling, right? They can ask for more information. Hey, what's really meant by this? So again, we have 4 different levels of certification. Just a reminder, I put the acronyms for the different parties here. So LEED, that's the rating system. USGBC is the organization that develops the rating system, and GBCI, they're the ones that administer the process. And as we go from certified to silver to gold to platinum, it requires a higher number of points to achieve those higher levels of certification. So we register a project. We set a goal that we want a project to be LEED certified. We register that project, or the project team will register that project with the goal of being certified. Certification is the process of reviewing the materials, right, done by the GBCI, and LEED certified, that describes a project where that certification has been successfully met, where those standards have been successfully met. And again, you see the different number of points, whatever my pointer here. Right? Higher certified, silver, gold, platinum. The point ranges involved in each of those levels of certification. Right? More points is better. The maximum the most you could get would be 110 points, right? That would be exceptional, outstanding performance, right? A LEED platinum building is an exceptionally high performing building, right? Built to the highest level of standards, right? LEED platinum is an excellent building. But again, we talked about LEED as being a tool to measure building performance. Well, it's really twofold. It's to answer the question, what does green really mean? It also helps the designers and the construction team know, what it takes to be successful. Right. So what are some of the places that the LEED rating system is looking to make an impact? Obviously, we want to address reverse global climate change, enhance human health and well-being, protect and restore water resources. These are all the impact categories, all the things that we want our LEED certified building to do. Enhance and restore biodiversity and ecosystem services, right? We want it to improve the environment, the natural environment around the building. Sustainable and regenerative material resource cycles, right? What does that mean? That means that we want to ideally use locally sourced and sustainable materials to build a building with. Building a green economy, right? We want to support the tradesmen and the suppliers, all the people that will be involved in providing the materials and the goods and services for our building. We want to support that economy. And ideally, we have people as one of our, remember our 3 Ps or our 3 Es. We have equity, or E for equity, or P for people, right? Enhance equity, justice. So those are our goals, right? That's what we're trying to do, right? A pretty lofty set of goals. So again, here's our different rating systems: BD&C, building design and construction, new construction or major renovations. In the case of a commercial building, obviously there's some rules involved. We're going to talk about some of the rules here, right? I think we're in chapter 5 now. The owner must occupy at least 60% of the floor area, right, to be eligible for BD&C. We talked about BD&C core and shell. Right, core and shell is a speculative development. Where the core and shell of the building may be done separately from the fit out of the building. In the case of the BD&C, the owner is going to be occupying less than 40%. Also in BD&C, we can pre-certify, right? The developer can pre-certify the building, so they can put their building on the market and say, oh, I have a LEED Platinum building that I'm building. It's pre-certified, right? That might be something that the developer would use as a marketing tool, right, to attract tenants for the building, right? We know that now with COVID, a lot of things have changed in the world. We don't really know how the world of commercial real estate is going to settle out here when this is all said and done. So maybe this world will change a little bit. We don't know. Right, here's LEED rating systems related to O&M, or operations and maintenance. So this is existing buildings. This is the only rating system that expires and can be recertified, at least the way that the LEED system currently works. So if you get a LEED, if you have a LEED EB certified building, your certification is good for 5 years. So you have to, you have to go back and recertify it if you want to maintain that credential on your building. right? And again, here's the ID&C, interior design and construction. So ID&C is meant to work with core and shell. Right, the tenant who is fitting out that floor or a couple of floors of a high rise downtown, right? That tenant doesn't have control over the design of the building shell or the mechanical systems, the envelope. All they can control is what they do in their fit out. So they'll be judged or rated based on the work they do in their interior fit out. We have a number of rating systems related to the residential market. Single family, low rise, mid rise, multifamily. For large high rise multifamily, that would be BD&C new construction. Again, part of the role of the project team is to understand the various rating systems there and pick the rating system that best matches up with the attributes of the project. BD&C Homes, as you see there on the slide, addresses sizing the project appropriately, right? So you can get some upside to your project by responsibly sizing the project. Right? We'll see later in the semester, we'll talk about that. Building the appropriate size matters. Right? I think one of you just emailed me your book choice. I think one of you, and I forgot. I don't have that sheet open, but picked out the Not So Big House. Right? That's all about building with quality rather than quantity. I know that's a good book. I'm glad somebody chose that. Right, here's neighborhood development. So this isn't a design of a single building. This is the design of a neighborhood or a group of buildings. Right, looking at things like smart growth. How buildings relate to the infrastructure, street design. I think I have another lecture on this. I was hoping we'd get to it tonight, but it'll be next week. Again, the building is certified under a single rating system. So sometimes if a building has mixed use, if it's used for different purposes, then the project team has to look at the intended use of the building and pick the rating system that best applies. Again, some judgment on the part of the project team to make sure that the rating system fits the specifics of what's being designed. Excuse me. We talked about this before, but we have elements of the LEED rating system organized into categories. Right? I'm an engineer. I always like things to be organized. So in the case of the LEED rating systems, all these rating systems have these same categories, but the specifics within that category, the specific credits, will vary depending on the specific rating system we're talking about. But again, in credit category LT, or location and transportation, we want to discourage development on previously undeveloped land, rewards smart transportation choices. We talked about this earlier, right? We ideally want to encourage development where in an area that's maybe been built previously. where the infrastructure already exists. LEED credit category SS, or sustainable sites. We're talking about minimizing the building's impact on the surrounding ecosystems and waterways, right? Stormwater runoff. Encourage regionally appropriate landscaping, right? So if we build a building in Phoenix or Tucson, having a big expanse of green turf grass maybe isn't the thing that's appropriate for that environment. Control stormwater runoff, reduces erosion, light pollution. Remember when we went to CERN a couple of weeks ago, we learned about light pollution, losing the dark. Like those are all heat island effect. But we didn't see it when we toured the H building. But if you're in our architecture studio on the 3rd floor of the G building, you can look out our windows and look at the white roof on the adjacent H building. That white roof there is a feature. It's part of what makes the H building LEED certified. It helps reflect some of that sun's energy off the roof, so the building doesn't heat up as much in the summertime. LEED credit category WE, water efficiency. We're looking at smarter use less water, use it more thoughtfully, both inside the building with plumbing fixtures, as well as outside being landscaping. EA, energy and atmosphere, right? I talked a lot about reducing CO2 emissions, so LEED EA, reducing the energy consumption of building, reducing the amount of CO2 that's emitted by the building. That's going to be a key component of all the rating systems. That's obviously efficient design and construction. Commissioning, we talked about commissioning as being a structured process to make sure the design intent of the design team has been realized, make sure the systems are operating the way that the designers had intended. Obviously, renewable energy is a key component of EA. MR, materials and resources. This has to do with the materials used in the construction of the building, sustainably grown, harvested, locally produced materials, reduction of waste in the construction process. IEQ, indoor environmental quality. We want to improve the environment for the people in the building, quality of the indoor air, access to daylights and views, acoustics. Acoustics has to do with the sound or the noise. And each of these, as you go through the semester, I'm going to have a set of lectures that pertain to each of these, and then try to look at, some specific tools or tactics that can be used to address each of these credit categories. Right, we have in the BD&C rating systems, we have credits related to the integrative design process that we just talked about. Right, high performance, cost-effective project outcomes, innovation. The LEED rating system also has regional priorities, so the LEED folks in each region get to set things that address specific environmental or social issues in the area. So again, for the Chicagoland area, we'll have specific regional priorities. We'll see what that looks like here in a couple of weeks. Not watching the time. We have slightly different credit categories in the LEED ND or neighborhood development system. In all the LEED rating systems in each credit category, we have both prerequisites and credits. Prerequisites are must-haves, they're required. Credits are optional. So we have to do the prerequisites, that's table stakes. To become certified, the project must meet the prerequisites and achieve enough credits based on the level of certification desired. Right, so each of these little scorecards, right, this happens to be the scorecard for BD and C, right, you'll have prerequisites and things that are required. I think I have some of these. I'll have to look up. I think I posted a bunch of this material on Blackboard. I'll have to go back and make sure it's up there. But again, this is a typical layout. For each credit category, we have prerequisites and then credits. Right, we have maximum of 110 points. Those 10 bonus points come from the innovation and regional priority. All credits are worth at least 1 point. Credits are weighted differently. Credits are weighted dependent on how effectively they meet those impact categories we saw before. Right, so we're gonna value things that have the LEED rating system is going to try to value the things that are important. Right, addressing climate change is important. So the credits should be weighted accordingly. Indoor environmental quality is important. Obviously, water is important. Tell you what, I've got a couple slides here left, and I will pick up out of respect to your folks' time. I'll pick up with these last couple slides at the top of the next class. I don't want to take you too much overtime here, so and I'm wearing out as well. Any questions? Okay, well, I wrote down a couple of things. I think, Ayana, you had something that I have to follow up on, and somebody else did as well. I have to look back at the chat box here. Alfonso, you had a question as well. I will address those questions. I'm going to go back and post the TED Talk. The gentleman talked about effort. Right? Effort is the thing that you can control. You control the amount of effort that you put forth. Right? He talked about a growth mindset. Yeah, I posted on Blackboard, Ayan is asking about the book choice, so just put it in Blackboard and I will respond. Remember, it's first come, first serve. I showed you, let me jump back over there and I'll show you where all that information is located. Yes, that is correct, Tyler, but well, two things. There was a discussion board assignment on find examples of greenwashing to give everyone a chance to put forth the required level of effort. I opened that back up again, so that's out there again. So please, if you haven't done it, I'll give you another chance here to get in the habit of putting forth the effort. So finish up your greenwashing, do your reading assignments. Again, Tyler, as I mentioned, actually all of you, each chapter has questions at the end. Yes, that is correct. What was I going to show you here? Oh. I will, under the folder, it says student success. Right, I have the contact information for Michelle Lysick, our retention specialist. I have an interesting little exercise you put in there about time management and looking at all your time commitments. I know a lot of you are going to school and trying to study and keeping down a job, right? That's a lot of stuff you have on your plate. I think one of the things that she can do is help you with time management. I'm going to see if I can get her here next week. And I will post the link to that TED Talk that we just saw before, in case you want to go back and watch it again. And I'll send you an email to remind you, but we'll start next week's class with a brief quiz. I guess since I'm telling you about it, it can't be a pop quiz, but I'm going to pick out some questions from the textbook here and kind of encourage you gently to, or maybe not so gently, to, do the readings. Any other questions, folks? Okay, well, thanks for a good class. I appreciate your attention and your time and your questions. Some good questions here. I like it when you ask questions. That makes me have to think and do more work too. So we will see you all next week. As always, email me or text me if you have any questions. I'm every week I show up here at 1/4 to the hour, so that's always a good time that we can talk about stuff as well.